everybody, it's Joel, your host, and welcome to the Joel Let Me Show, where today I'm going to be trying my very best to finally properly cover a bit of the Joel Let Me Show's history over the last couple of years. And what I mean by that is what's been going on and what originally caused the drop in content production in early 2021, and then what's been happening for the last 3 years now about, and what I would like to make happen going into the future with 2024. So the reason I'm making this video as a kind of like a whole is more so for myself, and that's not because I don't want to make it for the audience here. I'm making this video to properly express and cover this bit of history and what's happened originally, because in 2021, the Joel Let Me Show was a tremendous part of my life, and I took a lot of pride in presenting my self-image with all of my work and my attention to detail, or at least what I believe was my stout, really nice attention to detail and making proper content on topics that I enjoyed. And before I ever got back to making content properly, I wanted to cover this as just sort of like a recap and getting everything in my head straight, which kind of makes me sound like a crazy person, but I just want to express this as a lot of this has gone undocumented. That's why everything that I do with friends always has a lot of pictures and videos, and the last couple of years here on the Joel Let Me Show have been pretty undocumented as to what's actually going on behind the scenes. And if there's one thing that I love showing, it's behind the scenes and showing people how things are created and what's going on. So the fact that I haven't been able to do a lot of that is just, it's never sat well with me. So, here it is, the little story of what originally happened and what caused my kind of backing away and fallout of YouTube. So, 2021, it was actually very, very late 2020. I had started talking to one of my friends from middle school, and due to the pandemic, we had gotten, separated, couldn't talk to each other anymore, and I realized, because this person had told me a lot about their life and a lot of the things that they were going through. So, I emailed them, one thing led to another, and I ended up getting myself into a relationship, which in and of itself wasn't the bad thing. What was the bad thing was that I didn't know how to control all of these things in my life, and I ended up sort of neglecting all of the other things that had previously meant the world to me. Which, when speaking about this period of my life to other people, there's three core things that I always talk about, which is my room, everything around me, and then there was school and the Joel Let Me Show. These three things were my life at the time. Maintaining my grades and making quality content that I was proud of for the Joel Let Me Show were my two biggest things that I cared about, and having a clean work environment, which was my room because it was where I lived, where I did schoolwork, and it was my studio, my only space to create content outside of just going places every now and again. But this is where it all happened, so keeping it clean and presentable to people was something that I was very proud of, and those things all got neglected. Grades fell, and my room turned into a pigsty for a couple months. And the biggest thing that will be noted here is that I fell away from YouTube and stopped making content. And the big mixture here was kind of like a mix of creative burnout and this sort of relationship thing going on in that time period. And the reason I say it's a mix of both is because for 6 months straight, with almost no breaks, with only a day or two in that period of 6 months, I was making daily content through Monday through Friday, and it might not seem like too much, but I was a 15-year-old some odd kid that was making content daily on multiple different subjects, all on my lonesome. So having to get into all of those headspaces and constantly making new ideas for all these different series that I had going per each day. Like Monday was I believe it was Sketchless Monday or something like that, but all of these series were completely original, and I tried my very best to keep all of them going. And one of my other series was called Swing Around Tuesday, and I actually covered this when I made the series. The point of it was to relieve some of that heavy strain. And the point of that little Swing Around Tuesday series was just to cover what was going on, and it was laid back and just a chance for me to talk, as I didn't have to make anything new. I just had to cover what was going on, and I would speak about behind the scenes stuff and what the future plans were for content coming up and whatnot, which was something that I really liked. So it played out quite well, but in the end, the creative burnout really got to me, as I had strained myself for a pretty long period of time. It felt like making daily content for 6 some odd months on my own, as well as trying to maintain grades and, you know, being with my family and whatnot, and all of that stuff combined had just led to a period of where I was kind of just down, and getting re-meeting this friend of mine that I previously known, but was getting to know on an entire another level that I'd never gotten to know before, was kind of like it was revealing to kind of like a throwback to what I was missing out on. I wasn't getting to talk to people, and I really wanted to get back to that, and ended up, you know, that relationship was the result of that entire combination of things. So there's a little story of what happened, and ever since then I've just been sort of away from YouTube, and it's sort of stained in my head of all of the strain that I had to put myself through, and neglected the fact that I was putting myself through hell in some degrees to make this content that wasn't even doing that well for much of its lifespan. All of these series were kind of underground, and a lot of the series didn't have any extremely popular redeeming factors, and as I said, a lot of them just ended up being underground and aren't remembered anymore, like Sketchalicious Tuesday. But there's one very crucial part of making content that was redeeming and will never stop being redeeming, was that I was proud of that content. Even while I put myself through hell to make all of it and get everything out on time, like strictly on time, it was ready to go. I had videos ready to go 2 weeks in advance in case anything happened, and that was it was a constant fight with everything going on to keep that going. And it was fun in a way. It was exhilarating having a purpose and having all these deadlines to get down to. And deadlines are something that really scare me now, but when you set your own deadlines and you get in the groove that you created, it meant a lot to me, and I would like to get back into that into some capacity. And that leads me to the future plans of the Joel Homie Show, which is going to be bringing back a couple of formats of content that I've done previously, such as product reviews every Friday, which will be based around probably mostly Legos and Nerf guns, maybe some techie products. Like, I might go over some old iPods and stuff, like Nintendo consoles from the 80s, 90s, and what have you. And there's definitely an audience out there for retro gaming, and I'm working on restoring an original Game Boy, which I am also working on filming that, which leads me to my next topic. I have a 1996 Jeep Cherokee XJ named Clifford. Having an old Jeep Cherokee from the 80s, or any Jeep from the 80s in general, anybody that has a Jeep from this era, or even the 90s, will understand that there's a constant fight to keep up on maintenance, and I love detailing cars and keeping them looking their best. And I think a lot of it is has potential to make content out of. There's detailing videos and whatnot, and just the simple little jobs like I just did a crank position sensor, and I think it would be helpful to make these little sort of tutorial videos for people that may not have as much confidence in getting right into the thick of it as I can have at times. And I think it'd be really nice to give that little boost of confidence to other people that may not have it when it comes to working on cars, because working on cars can be a daunting task to some people, and at one point it was for me, and well, at some point still can be. But I want to express a lot of these other hobbies that I have and re-implement the videography aspect in filming and documenting these things, because I haven't done it for a very long time. And as I was also speaking about previously, filming and documenting things and making these little videography films, or well, videos as they're referred to now, but I like to think of them as films, because every single video has a lot of effort put into it of mapping everything out and structuring how the content and the information is displayed to the audience. Overall, you might think that the entire kind of premise for going into the future seems really loose and kind of strung out right now, and it is. However, as I was speaking about just a minute ago, I want to implement a lot of the hobbies that I have now, whether it be iPods, old light tube televisions, or RCA televisions. There's just a bunch of old stuff out there that's really fun to work on and bring back to life, and it's just the group of people that are interested in those things are super cool, and I'd like to be a part of that community. And that's the other aspect that I want. One of the other aspects as to why I want to get back into making content is to build up a community and a fan base again, and be able to talk to people that have the same interests as me through like discovering these people because of the content that I'm putting out and how I'm presenting myself. So there you go. there's kind of the long strung out story of everything that has happened in the past all the way up to what I'd like to make happen in the future. So if any of that sounds even remotely interesting to you, if you've made it this far, put something in the comments as to what you'd like to see, and I'll try my very best to get back to doing it. 2024 is the year that I'd like to make the Joel Lemmy Show come back stronger than ever, and it's going to be a slow start at first, and I'm really sorry if the videos all suck. I've noticed that a lot of my duration times or the lengths of my videos recently have been very strung out, and it's because I've lost that kind of touch that I used to have of how to structure and script the content and information that I'm displaying through my videos, and it just kind of leads to me doing this and just talking, and it gets lengthy, very lengthy. I'm going to be trying my very best to get back on the the roll of things, or back on the grind, if you will, here on the Joel Lemmy Show. And eventually, if any of these forms of content end up working out, maybe I'll make another channel or something like that, because I would really like to try my best to devote the Joel Lemmy Show to one core piece of content that I believe I can keep on going with, which may end up being retro gaming or automotive, because those are two topics that I really, really love and I think would be fit for the overall kind of 80s VHS aesthetic old vibe that I was trying to push with the Joel Lemmy Show, with like the intro and whatnot. But as has been happening for the last several years, as I was talking about earlier, it kind of just loops over and the premise gets very unclear through the very strung out publishing dates of videos and whatnot. And with that being said, if you enjoyed today's video as much as I enjoyed making it, make sure you hit that like button, and if you'd like to see more of my content going into the future, make sure to do the same to that subscribe button. And if you'd like to go even a step further and see all of my content when it comes out, make sure to ring that notification bell so that YouTube tells you right when my videos come out. And with that being said, I'll catch you guys in the next one.